On August 6, 1945, Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a young engineer, was on a business trip to Hiroshima. He was there to finalize plans for a new oil tanker design, a project that had consumed much of his time and energy. Little did he know this day would mark a turning point not just in his life, but in the annals of history. The city bustled with activity, oblivious to the impending doom. Children played in the streets, vendors sold their goods, and the hum of daily life filled the air. The people of Hiroshima were unaware that their world was about to change forever. At 8:15 a.m., a blinding flash illuminated the sky. It was as if a second sun had appeared, casting an eerie light over the city. The explosion was followed by a deafening roar, a sound that would haunt the survivors for the rest of their lives. Yamaguchi, caught in the open, was thrown into darkness. The force of the blast knocked him off his feet and he was enveloped in a cloud of dust and debris. For a moment he was unsure if he was dead or alive. He regained consciousness, disoriented and injured. His body was covered in burns and his ears rang with the echoes of the explosion. As he looked around, he saw others in similar states of shock and confusion, their faces etched with pain and fear. The world around him had transformed into a scene of unimaginable destruction. Buildings that once stood tall were now reduced to rubble, and fires raged uncontrollably, casting a hellish glow over the devastated landscape. Buildings lay in ruins and the air crackled with an eerie silence. The once vibrant city was now a ghostly wasteland, and the only sounds were the distant cries of the injured and the crackling of flames. Injured and traumatized, Yamaguchi stumbled through the rubble-strewn streets, searching for safety and answers. He encountered others who, like him, were trying to make sense of the chaos. Together they navigated the ruins, driven by a desperate hope for survival and a yearning for understanding in the face of such overwhelming devastation. The following hours were a blur of pain, confusion and fear. The city lay in ruins, a haunting silence broken only by the cries of the injured and the desperate calls for missing loved ones. The once vibrant streets were now filled with debris and the remnants of shattered lives. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning. Yamaguchi made his way to a nearby shelter where he received rudimentary medical attention. The shelter was overcrowded, filled with the wounded and dying. Medical supplies were scarce and the doctors and nurses worked tirelessly, their faces etched with exhaustion and sorrow. Yamaguchi's wounds were bandaged hastily, but the pain was relentless. The horrors he witnessed were deeply etched in his memory. Flashburns, falling debris, and the cries of the injured. The sight of children, their faces contorted in pain, and the anguished expressions of parents searching for their lost ones were images that would haunt him forever. The devastation was beyond comprehension, a nightmare that seemed never-ending. Despite his injuries, Yamaguchi felt a glimmer of hope. In the midst of the chaos, he saw acts of kindness and bravery, strangers helping each other, sharing what little they had, and comforting those in despair. It was these small acts of humanity that gave him the strength to carry on. He had survived the blast. The realization brought a mix of relief and guilt. Why had he been spared when so many others had perished? The question lingered in his mind, but he knew he had to keep moving forward. There was no time to dwell on the past. Survival was the only option. He yearned to return to the familiar comforts of his home in Nagasaki. The thought of his family waiting for him gave him a sense of purpose. He imagined the warmth of his home, the laughter of his children, and the embrace of his wife. These thoughts were his beacon of hope in the darkness. With unwavering determination, he embarked on a perilous journey back. The path was fraught with danger, but Yamaguchi was resolute. He navigated through the war-torn landscape, driven by the hope of reuniting with his loved ones. Each step was a testament to his resilience and the unbreakable human spirit. The journey was arduous. The train lines were destroyed, and Yamaguchi had to walk for miles through a ravaged landscape. He encountered countless others who had been affected by the bombing, their stories adding to his own sense of shock and disbelief. Upon reaching Nagasaki, Yamaguchi was met with a mix of relief and disbelief. His family, fearing the worst, was overjoyed to see him alive. Despite the joy of reunion, Yamaguchi couldn't shake the haunting memories of Hiroshima. 3 days later, on August 9th, Yamaguchi went to work, determined to regain a sense of normalcy. As he recounted his Hiroshima experience to his skeptical colleagues, the unthinkable happened. At 11:02 a.m., another blinding flash seared the sky. Yamaguchi found himself thrown to the ground once more, his body battered but miraculously intact. He had survived 2 atomic bombings. His survival defied all odds. Life after the bombs was a changed world. The aftermath of the Nagasaki bombing was eerily similar to Hiroshima. Yamaguchi, now a double survivor, navigated the devastated city, his mind struggling to comprehend the magnitude of the destruction. He helped others, sharing his meager supplies and offering words of comfort. The world had changed forever. The bombings marked the dawn of the atomic age, casting a long shadow over humanity's future. Yamaguchi bore the physical and emotional scars of that fateful August. Section 6. Scars of the Past. Yamaguchi's Struggles. In the years that followed, Yamaguchi faced numerous health challenges. He suffered from radiation sickness, burns, and hearing loss. The psychological toll was equally profound. Nightmares and flashbacks haunted him, a constant reminder of the horrors he had witnessed. Despite the hardships, Yamaguchi persevered. He returned to work, determined to rebuild his life and provide for his family. He found solace in the love of his loved ones and the support of fellow survivors. Section 7. Finding Purpose, Advocacy and Peace. Yamaguchi's experiences had a profound impact on his outlook on life. He became a vocal advocate for peace and nuclear disarmament. He shared his story with the world, hoping to prevent such atrocities from ever happening again. His message resonated with people from all walks of life. He became a symbol of resilience, a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure even the most unimaginable hardships. Section 8. Yamaguchi's Legacy, an enduring symbol of resilience. Tsutomu Yamaguchi's story is a powerful reminder of the human capacity for survival and hope in the face of adversity. His experiences serve as a stark warning against the devastating consequences of nuclear weapons. Yamaguchi's legacy lives on in the countless lives he touched with his story and his unwavering commitment to peace. He reminds us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure and inspire. Section 9. The Indomitable Spirit Lessons from Yamaguchi's Life. Yamaguchi's life story teaches us the importance of resilience, hope, and the pursuit of peace. Born in 1916, Yamaguchi lived through some of the most tumultuous times in modern history. He was in Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, when the atomic bomb was dropped and miraculously survived. Just 3 days later, he found himself in Nagasaki, where he endured yet another atomic bombing. Despite these harrowing experiences, Yamaguchi's spirit remained unbroken. He reminds us that even in the face of unimaginable suffering, the human spirit can find the strength to carry on. Yamaguchi's resilience was not just about surviving, it was about thriving and finding meaning in life after such catastrophic events. He became a vocal advocate for nuclear disarmament, sharing his story with the world to ensure that such tragedies would never be repeated. His story is a call to action, urging us to work towards a world free from the threat of nuclear weapons. Yamaguchi's advocacy took him to international platforms where he spoke passionately about the horrors of nuclear warfare and the urgent need for global peace. His words resonated with many inspiring movements and policies aimed at nuclear disarmament. Yamaguchi's legacy is a beacon of hope, illuminating the path towards a more peaceful and just future. His life serves as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope. By remembering and honoring his story, we are encouraged to strive for a world where peace prevails over conflict and humanity triumphs over destruction.